Welcome to the Hello Lovely podcast. I'm your host, Christie Williams, and I teach women how to be themselves. As an exclusive life coach for women, I'll teach you how to manage anxiety, make decisions you're confident in, and stop beating yourself up. So let's get started. Hello, lovelies. Okay, first I gotta let you know about a special workshop this week. If you are listening live, listen up. The workshop this week is emotional triggers. We're going to do a workshop together because there's something very powerful and useful in an emotional trigger. And because the work is so powerful and what gives my clients some of the most impactful transformations, I'm inviting you to join us. This will be a virtual workshop, and the way to sign up is to sign up on the Lovelies List. You can use the link in the show notes or go to misschristiewilliams.com, and the Zoom link will be sent an hour before the workshop. It is going to be a webinar, so you can come anonymously and bring your triggers with you. Okay, so don't wait. Sign up right now. Block off that time in your calendar. It's Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Block off that time in your calendar. It's important enough to take an early lunch. The way you think and approach emotional triggers will change your life. So go ahead and sign up now. Okay, and today's episode is about feelings and emotions. I love to use those interchangeably, and you're going to hear me say a combination of both throughout this podcast episode today. I did a training on this a little bit ago, and it was so good and has helped so many women that I'm going to play it for you today. So sit back, enjoy. You're about to get some deets on emotions.
Good morning, everybody. I am so happy to be discussing this topic with you today, which is how to feel your emotions. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Christie Williams, and I am a life coach exclusively for women. And this topic today is super fun because you may think already, wait a second, I know how to feel my emotions. I feel them all the time. But what's so fun about this is that with feeling our emotions, like negative emotions specifically, you may be feeling high levels of it, and you may be afraid of feeling that. So we're going to be talking all about really how to process emotions, all of them, positive emotions and negative emotions. I want you to think about right now, if I asked you, how do you feel your positive emotions? You might think, I don't know. It's because you already feel those all the way through. You may not even notice how many emotions that you have in one day when they're more on the positive side, because you do process those and feel those all the way through. I really want you to think about positive emotion here first before we get into how to feel any emotion, because we really have so many different emotions all the time throughout the day, just so many different ones. And when we're able to feel them all the way through, it doesn't feel scary. It doesn't feel as painful, and we can actually be processing and feeling tons of emotions without even realizing it. So when you think about feeling a positive emotion, it just happens. So you feel a positive emotion, it just passes, you have another one. Feel a positive emotion, it just passes, you have another one. I want you to think about how now it's different with negative emotion and how you feel negative emotion. Does it feel like, oh no, I hope this goes away, I shouldn't feel this, I don't want to feel that? That is different from how you're processing positive emotion. So the difference is really how to feel your emotions, all of them together. Because as a human, as a woman, you have got a variety on both sides, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And when you can learn to feel any emotion, it helps you become more emotionally balanced as a result. So you won't be afraid to feel a negative emotion, and it won't be a problem. You'll be able to feel it just like you feel any other emotion. You feel it, it passes, you have another one. You feel it, it passes, you have another one. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the difference between positive and negative emotion. So the first thing I want you to notice here is that as a woman, you're kind of like a battery. You've got positive and negative emotions. The negative ones are not a problem. The positive ones are not a problem when you're able to feel them all the way through. So it may feel like right now that positive emotion and being happy is the goal, to be happy all the time. And that if you're feeling anything on this side, that something has gone wrong. So let's just notice right now, it may feel like if you have anxiety, then you can't be happy. Almost like the difference between positive and negative emotions is a hardcore split down the middle. But I really want to show in this training here that it's just kind of a mix. There's not really a hardcore split between positive and negative emotions. As a woman, you're going to have a mixture of both. But when you think you want to be happy all the time, like this is something that we say to ourselves, you may even say this to yourself, I just want to be happy all the time. Then when we have an emotion on this side, it feels like something has gone wrong. And you may even think when you have emotions on this side that you're an emotional person. But let me ask you this. When you have emotions on this side, do you consider yourself an emotional person? Just notice the difference of what you say to yourself, how you call yourself when you have emotions on this side. These are still emotions. But when you have these, do you call yourself an emotional person? So happy all the time, when you think about being happy all the time, it sounds like it would be great. If I could just be happy all the time, then I wouldn't have to feel this. But I want you to really think about that right now. Do you want to be happy all the time? For example, if there was a tornado outside, would you want to be happy? Would you want to be in the emotion of happy? Take a second and think about what the emotion of happy feels like. It's kind of like this. It's even a little bit more high level than calm or peace. It's like, do you want to feel that emotion when there's a tornado outside? Or what about when somebody you care about dies? Do you want to feel the emotion of happy? No. You want to feel sad. You want to feel grief. You want to process that. Imagine being in that situation, wanting to feel grief, wanting to feel sad, and the only emotion you have in your tool belt is happy. You only have happy because you can only be happy all the time. You wouldn't want that. You would be glad you could reach in your tool belt and grieve and be able to get that out and process it. So just notice how all of these put together in the combination, positive, negative, just like a battery, give you all of the emotions to feel as a human being. So when you have emotions on this side, you don't think there's a problem. You allow these, you feel these. So think about how many of these on this side you could have through the day. Tons. But we don't even notice them because they're just so allowed, like you allow them. And so you may feel so many of these. Like I want you to really think about at this point, like what other emotions on this side that you're feeling throughout a day. You could be feeling calm. You could be feeling joy. You could be feeling relaxed. Let's think about some on this side. You could be feeling sad. You could be feeling discouraged, bored. But notice how on both sides, there's levels of both. There's softer levels of negative emotion like bored, and there's softer levels of positive emotion like relaxed. But there's also a high level positive emotions too, like excited. Very high level. But if somebody told you you shouldn't feel excited, you'd think, oh, whatever. It's not a problem. Because you know how to feel it. When you feel excited, you notice exactly what it is, and you let yourself feel it, and then it goes away. But think about this. If you ever felt excited and were worried or told yourself you shouldn't be excited or that excited is a problem, or that you're an emotional person if you're excited, how would that change how you allowed yourself to feel it? Would that change for you? Yeah, there'd be some resistance to it. So that's the difference right now between how you're processing emotions. If the negative emotions feel really high level, or you ever feel afraid to feel negative emotion, it's because right now you're resisting or blocking it. But we don't resist or block positive emotions. That is the difference. That's why it feels like positive emotions come and go and negative emotions hang on, and then you may feel even like trapped. So if you've ever felt trapped in a negative emotion or afraid to feel a negative emotion, or tell yourself you shouldn't feel this, that tells you right there that you're blocking or resisting those emotions. Okay? So again, let's go back to this side. When you tell yourself that you want to be happy all the time, it makes your brain, right? That's what we tell our brain. That's just something that's been learned. It tells your brain that when you're feeling anything but happy or anything on this side, it's a problem. So what I want you to learn even from today, before we even go over the 4 simple steps, is that it's okay to have both. Having both is human. So as a human, positive, negative emotion, you're going to feel almost like a 50-50 split between the two of them. And there's not a hardcore line. It's not like happy now, anxiety later. This is so interchangeable. So when you are able to feel any emotion and you're not afraid of feeling any emotion and you know how to feel your negative emotion just like you feel your positive, it gives you emotional balance as a result because you're able to feel it and then it moves on. Okay, so let's talk about some of the myths why you may be blocking or resisting negative emotion. Because you may think, well, positive emotion just feels better in my body. Negative emotion doesn't feel good. But there's also a difference there too. Remember excited, how the vibration is super strong and it even gives you that energy of like you have to get up, you have to move. It drives you to that kind of action. Each emotion has its own tingle. Each emotion has its own vibration. So think about those. Think about happy and excited and sad and bored and calm. Think about the differences between all of them. They each just have a little bit different vibration, a little different of a tingle, but they are all emotions. So these are the top 3 myths about emotions that we're going to talk about today. 1, that you're an emotional person if you have negative emotion. 2, you need to control yourself. And 3, I should be happy all the time. So you're not an emotional person if you have more than one emotion. You're just a woman who has emotions. So as a human being, you have that tool belt. You have that tool belt of emotions. You've got happy over here. You've got sad over here. And all of them just make you a human being. So your feelings matter, whatever they are. So even in this training, if you're noticing that you have been blocking or resisting emotions, your feelings still matter. It doesn't mean you've even been doing it wrong or that there's a problem with you with emotions. Your feelings still matter. So it doesn't mean that you are an emotional person. It just means that you are a woman with emotions. Okay, so let's go over the 4 steps. These are 4 simple steps to practice anywhere with any emotion. And what's fun about this is that this is a process that you're already doing with positive emotions. But you just may not notice it because you already are a pro at that. Think about something that you do really well. We don't notice the process. So when I ask you, how do you feel positive emotion now? You're like, I don't know. But there is a process. You've just gone through it and it's so automatic now, you don't even think about it. So the first thing I want you to do is go through these 4 steps with a positive emotion, because I want you to see One, that it's totally safe to practice with any emotion. And then also two, to show that it's kind of really broken down a lot slower what you're doing with a positive emotion. So pick a positive emotion right now. Maybe it's joy. So when you're feeling a positive emotion, you breathe. You don't hold your breath. So you take a breath. It's, again, broken down slower here because you're going to apply this to feeling all your emotions. So you're going to take it a little bit slower with the negative ones that you haven't done this before. But you breathe when you have a positive emotion. You don't hold your breath. Name the emotion. So I have joy. I feel joyful. Notice where it is and describe it. So joy for me is kind of like a tingle up here. Feels like energy through my belly, almost like my blood is flowing up this way, and then there's a tingle here. Notice where it is for you. But in this practice, the reason we're choosing this positive emotion is I want you to, again, see totally safe to notice where you feel your emotion. And you may even love that about positive emotion. You may even love that you actually slow down here and feel the vibrations. Like, I'm feeling so much joy or love, and you may even hold your heart, but you feel that totally safe to do so. And the fourth step is you give yourself time to feel that positive emotion. So you don't tell yourself here, stop feeling it. Hurry up and feel this joy. Get this happy over with. You just feel it. You give yourself time to feel it, and then what happens? It goes away. And then you have another emotion later. Because as a human, you're just constantly cycling out different emotions all the time, okay? So now let's practice with one of the emotions not a super fan of right now. One of the emotions that you don't want to feel, that you have been blocking or resisting. I'm going to use anxiety for this training. Step one, take a slow, deep breath. Let's do this together. Ready? Here we go. That one is so key, you guys, because usually what happens with an emotion we don't want to feel, that we have resisted in the past, we start holding our breath. Okay? So step one, the moment you start feeling an emotion that you don't want to feel, that you have been resisting, like anxiety, take a slow, deep breath. Let's do another one. Let's do it together. I don't care what emotion you're feeling, that always feels good, okay? And it's going to be a reset. Step two, name the emotion. This is anxiety. I am feeling anxiety. 3, notice where it is and describe it. So think about for you where you feel this emotion. For me, anxiety is kind of a squeezing here. It's a tightness in my chest and a squeezing here, almost like this motion is happening. It feels kind of like a fist in my belly, and it feels like my head is squeezing. Okay? Remember, just like you practice this with a positive emotion, it's safe to slow down and feel this. I want you to do this, okay? This is going to be key in you being able to feel your emotions, okay? And notice all the places in your body. It may feel like immediately, oh, I know where anxiety is. I feel it right here. But when you slow down and do these steps to practice, you may notice actually it's a little bit different than your immediate reaction or your immediate awareness to it. Slow down, take the breath, name the emotion, describe where it is. Notice everywhere. Is it in my arms? Is it in my face? Do I feel it in my legs? Notice all the places where you feel it. It's even great here as part of this practice to get you really like a feeling emotional ninja here to notice where it's not. So you may even notice, okay, I'm feeling a lot of tightness up here, a lot of movement and vibration up here, but I feel nothing in my feet. Just notice that. And then 4, give yourself the time to feel it. So right here, this is where you are not going to say, stop feeling this. You're going to allow yourself to feel it. You've noticed where it is, and you're still breathing. Feel it. And what's going to happen? It's going to be pass and it's going to go away. And then you'll just have another emotion after that. And I put a little heart here because at this point where you usually are telling yourself, stop feeling this anxiety or this is a problem, I want you to have compassion here for yourself. If you were with a friend who was feeling an emotion that they didn't want to feel, how would you approach that with them? You'd say, it's okay. I'm here for you. You can feel it. I got you. You'd have some compassion. Can you flip that for yourself? Because your relationship with yourself really is a filter for everything else, all your other relationships. So the more that you practice allowing your emotions, the more natural and easier it's going to be for you to be around other people that have emotions, even if they're not the emotions you're feeling. You'll become so comfortable with feeling any emotion, like you'll know exactly how to do it. That even if someone else is feeling another emotion that you're not feeling, you can be with them and see them, and you don't need to stop them from feeling an emotion. But notice how this practice is super simple. This is the practice of how you're feeling positive emotion. You're just so on it with it. It's so automatic that it feels like you don't have a process for feeling positive emotion. And that's where I want to give you all your power here is when you think you're not good at feeling negative emotion or you have too much, that's just a little bit of a beat down on yourself. I want you to have compassion here and just notice the reason that negative emotion feels super higher level or why you felt trapped is simply because you haven't practiced feeling it before. It's that simple. Nothing is wrong with you and nothing has gone wrong. And you will absolutely master this. You literally will be an emotional ninja. So the goal here is not to remove negative emotion at all. Because remember, the mix of it is a 50-50 as a human right now. So when you're thinking, I need to stop, you try to stop negative emotion, it's just going to make it feel heavier. Your body is designed to feel it. So when you practice these 4 steps, take a slow, deep breath. Let's take another one. You name the emotion. This is anxiety. You notice exactly where it is. It's totally safe to do so. And you give yourself a moment to feel it. There is no emotion that you can't feel where you'll just allow it to be there. It passes, goes by. And think about emotion as a beach ball in the pool. Beach balls floating by, any emotion. Remember, because emotions are emotions, whatever side that they're on. Emotions just passing by. If you try to block that beach ball and push it down under the water and push it because you don't want to see it, you don't want to feel it, you don't want anything to do with it, it adds more. It adds more energy and more pressure. And then sometimes it just pops up and blows up in your face. So that's why negative emotion or any emotion that you try to block feels more intense, is because of that resistance. You take that resistance away, it can pass by. You still feel it, but it doesn't feel scary and it can never trap you. And that's exactly what I want you to know. When you practice this, you will automatically start having that emotional balance where these are more of a 50-50 than like 90 and 10. Okay, so remember, goal, not to make you a robot who never feels anything on this side, but to give you those 4 steps. So whatever emotion that comes up, you know you got this and you know exactly how to feel it, just like you've already been doing with all the emotions on this side. Okay, so I'm going to offer a companion worksheet for this This is a worksheet to really help you if there's specific emotions that you don't want to feel. You can take them one by one, and it's specifically designed to take you through to see what your current relationship is with that emotion, to be able to help you go through those 4 steps more naturally. Because you'll get that emotional balance. That is the goal there, to feel emotionally balanced. Picture yourself never worried about having a negative emotion. You just know exactly how to feel it. Do you ever worry about getting a positive emotion? Think about that. It's not because it's on this side. It's because you have allowed yourself to feel it. I can't wait for you guys to put that into practice. So snag your worksheet. It's a free companion worksheet I made for this. You can do it with any emotion. It's completely guided, so you just go in there and you start popping in which emotion that you feel like you don't want to feel. And then I'm going to include those 4 simple steps at the end for you. So if you want to take this work deeper, this is one of the areas that I work with women on in my 6-month program. You're a woman who can feel her emotions, whatever they are. You don't judge yourself for feeling emotions, and you're never trapped in emotion. And then what results from that is you have genuine confidence, because you can go places, you can talk to people, you can do whatever you want, and there's not that fear of what emotion you're going to feel. Or not a fear of being triggered, because you know you can feel an emotion, whatever it is. And you have an emotional balance where you're 50-50, not high-level negative emotion. So if you want to take that work deeper, go to my website, misschristiewilliams.com, schedule a free consult to work with me one-on-one. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for joining me today on this webinar, and I will see you next time.
All right, lovelies. I hope you enjoyed that so much, and it was helpful for you to be able to apply in your life starting today. Look forward to seeing you all at the Emotional Triggers Workshop if you are listening live, and will join us on Wednesday. Otherwise, have a beautiful week, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, lovely. If you want to be more confident on the outside, you have to start on the inside. If you don't take time to create an amazing relationship with yourself, it will show up in every other area of your life. If you feel stuck or don't know how to be yourself, I invite you to work with me one-on-one. Go to misschristiewilliams.com and sign up for a free call to join my 6-month program. That's MSCHRISTIE Williams.com, and I'll see you in session.